DJD.
Howdy.
And no farmer. Nothing. Not a message, nothing. You know what? He's probably going to message us during the thing tonight and be like, hey guys, I'm not going to make it. You know?
Yeah, like having no heads up at all is unusual. Not the first time. Not unprecedented, but unusual.
I feel like it's actually not that unusual because I always bring up that he does it. Right?
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, you do, and then I message him, and then he usually replies.
And then
But
he's like, "Oh no, oh hey, yeah, sure,
yeah, that's fair.
sure."
Yeah.
The hold on, I feel like I'm coming in. There we are. There it is. I feel like I'm coming in more on the right side, and I figured it out. Cool. Okay. So, for those who are listening, what's up? I see Logan in our studio audience. Logan, if you want to join us on this podcast, feel free. I just came back inside. I was literally splitting wood, like chopping wood outside. It is rainy season here in Japan, but like right now it's sunny and nice, and I have like way too much like unchopped wood in my garage, and I need to make some space, so I need to chop some to stack it. And so like I literally spent like 30 minutes right before the podcast doing that, like spraying my house for bugs all the way around the house and then chopping wood. And I'm dying right now. Oh, Logan says he has nothing legitimate to contribute. Logan, is that
That's
what you think this
okay.
podcast is? Is
Yeah.
that what you think
We
this is?
never
That we're like
do,
actually,
buddy. Yeah,
we're actually
we're
like
just
having serious stuff.
chatting. Yeah.
And this whole time, for those who want, if you guys come and listen live when we record this, and so I came in, and David also just got home from work.
Yeah.
He, my personal favorite thing to do with this podcast at this point is before David comes into work, I stream tracking him on his way home. I enjoy
It's
it.
kind of a little bit not really, but if I was a bad driver, I would be nervous.
I mean, wouldn't you be happy because if something happened, we could not do anything because we're just looking online and like, can't call
I'm
911 or
sure.
anything?
I just wouldn't want to be judged for my bad driving, I guess. But I guess like it doesn't necessarily show like whether I use my blinker or not. You just hear that over Discord.
It's true. It's true. And sometimes you don't join while you're doing it,
That's true. Yeah.
right? Like Farmer and I would just watch you. But other than that, and I don't think I acknowledged that Craig is recording. I mean, at this point, do I need to acknowledge that Craig is here? Again, Craig is our rock and the
Stalwarts.
real, yeah, the one who the real one, as the kids say. He's a real one, right?
That
But
is what kids
what's
say.
up, D?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to just jump right? Oh, so before we jump into the Nintendo Direct, I saw this great post on Threads, which I know I've talked about. I need to get off Threads because it's terrible. And someone posted, like, do you know the picture of, like, the 3 dragon heads and 2 of them look serious and one of them looks, like, dopey? Like the meme format?
I feel like I've seen that, but like I mean,
Yeah, there's, like,
I'm
3
not
dragon
entirely
heads,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
and 2 of them look, like, scary and one of them looks stupid. And so usually it's, like, 2 things that are good and then 1 thing that's not good, right? Is, like, the dopey-looking one. And so I was on Threads and I saw someone post one of those, and it was like the state of play and Nintendo Direct were like good, and then the Xbox Showcase was bad.
That's
Which
wild.
is
Okay,
crazy.
that's insane.
The nice thing is though, all of the comments on that were like, dude, you're just a hater. Like Xbox had the strongest showcase this year out of everybody. All right, so I'm not even going to read what the studio audience is saying here. He just woke up from a nap. So I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. But like the Xbox showcase was great. And so what we did not get a chance to talk about was the Nintendo showcase and how
Which I
because
still
of the
have not seen.
Nintendo show. You haven't seen the Nintendo Direct?
I still haven't seen it. No, I'll probably watch it on stream, just, like,
Do you know what they
tomorrow.
announced?
I know they announced the Ocarina of Time remake, right?
Ocarina of Time remake, and that is the maker. I mean, Farmer's not here to talk about how he's buying a Switch too, right? On this
Yeah.
podcast, he was like that as soon as they remake
Maybe that's where he
Ocarina
is.
of Time,
He's buying a Switch
he's
too.
gonna buy a Switch. I mean, he should do it because isn't it? They're gonna do a price hike, but not yet, right? So
Right.
like now's
Yeah.
the time to do it. A lot of people are in that boat. They announced a new Xenoblade game. They announced a bunch of like Kingdom Hearts stuff getting brought over. They also had like a Kingdom Hearts trailer
Oh, for 4. Yeah, I heard
for
something
4
about that, but I didn't
with
see it yet.
no, by the way, no date. So we've got like probably 13
Still.
years, right,
Yeah.
before that comes out. So nobody needs to get excited. But the big thing is Ocarina of Time and like the updated graphics, and it seems that it's like a full remake. And they're saying it's going to come out in 2026 this year. So,
Ambitious.
Logan saying that maybe he'll join. If you want to join, Logan, feel free to come on up on stage and join. For just to talk about Ocarina of Time, I love Zelda. One of the games that actually got me into gaming was The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening back on the Game Boy Color, right? But my first but I didn't own a Nintendo console until the GameCube. I just had like the Game Boy, right? So I played Link's Awakening, I played Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, stuff like that.
Right.
And so my first big 3D Zelda game was actually Twilight Princess, not Ocarina of Time. I actually didn't end up playing Ocarina of Time until I was an adult. I think I may have talked about this. I played the Ocarina of Time remake on the 3DS at the time. So I understand that Ocarina of Time hits really hard for a lot of people, and that's like the game. I think, isn't it like one of the best selling games or best rated games of all time or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Um, it's this really big thing, but for me, I'm like, it was just okay, which I know for so many people is sacrilegious, but like, for example, if you watch like the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, or like any sci-fi, it's really hard to go back to the original Blade Runner, right?
Yes.
Because with the original
Yes.
Blade Runner, it's just okay, but like the original Blade Runner inspired all of that. It was really important, right? But if you watch the stuff that was inspired from it and then you go back to it and you hadn't seen it first, it's just kind of like it's not bad, but it's like not incredible. That's how I felt about Ocarina of Time. I played so many other games at that point, and then by the time Ocarina of Time, like I got to it, it was just okay. But I know at the time it was a big thing. But I see Logan's come in. You want to talk about Ocarina of
Yes.
Time? Go
Can you hear
ahead,
me
Logan.
okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
It is potentially one of the worst choices they could have made to remake
Ooh,
specifically Ocarina of Time.
interesting. Why? Why the hate?
Because it is such a, especially for the time, a game that defined the genre of like 3D gaming at the time, right? It was
Hmm.
the first one to really push forward the 3D gaming in that kind of space with what it could do, especially on the N64. Um, you're going to get a lot of people like, this is the game I grew up on. A
That's what
lot
basically
of
everyone says.
nostalgia
That's what
with.
Farmer says.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I like, right? I specifically remember at that time. When it first came out, I wasn't allowed to play it first off because, Christian family, like
I was
this
gonna
is
say, are
not
you gonna bring it
appropriate
up
for
on
a
the
child.
podcast, or are you gonna
Yeah.
just say because you know, and then we're gonna be like, yep, all of us listening know.
um, I'll bring yeah no no. My parents like that's not appropriate for a young man like you. So I actually did not play it until it came out. You remember on the GameCube, there
Yes.
was the disc with everything, the Master Collection, whatever they called it. That's where I played it on in our RV, parked out back in next to our garage. Right, so that's where I started with the Zelda franchise. Was with that game specifically.
Hmm.
Um, and just the emotions that people have with it, they have this in their mind. This is what Ocarina of Time is. That's why the 3DS remake was still successful. Was they didn't actually change any of the core mechanics. People were like, okay, this is the game I remember. I remember this is the button I need to push. this is the direction I need to go. This is how it looks in my head. If they're totally revamping it and looking at the thing, like I even looked at the pictures and the video from it, and I'm like, that's not Ocarina of Time.
Well, what's funny is a lot of people are commenting on that, like not loving like the images from it, and I think it looks
Yeah.
fine, but I don't have that nostalgia for it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
I'm
think
like,
that
yeah,
helps
yeah,
a
that
lot, actually,
that
especially when
looks
it
Yeah.
fine
comes
to
to
me.
there's a little bit of the same conversation with like Halo Remake, where a bunch of people are like, well, this
Mhm.
isn't faithful to like original Halo because you can sprint or whatever,
Oh my
and
Yeah.
God, let's not talk
and
about
you can
that.
slide,
If you
and
if
like you
you
can
think that
pick up
sprinting
enemy
ruined
weapons.
Halo, can
Yeah.
you just unsubscribe from us right now?
Or
Okay, continue.
But I mean, like,
or it doesn't
people
have the
have
health pack,
such an
right?
attachment to the way that things were or how they remember them in their minds. Because when it comes down to it, I think this is almost always true that things usually sucked a lot more than you remember them when it comes down
Yes.
to it. You
Yes.
Yeah.
just have a very favorable, like, sentimental, emotional connection to it. And that's the only reason that you value
Yeah.
it as highly as you do. But
And
like no
yeah.
one's really willing to like dive into their own psyche and confront that. So I mean, like
So, and here's where
instead
I've
we get
actually
this
fallen to it.
attachment that's like kind of misplaced.
Is you are entirely correct on that. And here's the sad thing though. It's gonna be one of those, it's still gonna sell, out the wazoo, right? It's gonna sell so much because the people who are even gonna hate on it are still gonna want to go play it, right? At least once. So they're gonna get those initial sales, right? Regardless of the reviews, regardless of anything, right? Because of what it is. It's a Nintendo Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, right?
Sure.
But then you're going to get these people who, like you just said, they have the rose tinted glasses of the mechanics. Um,
Mm.
and so, Nintendo
No,
has
even
backed
like
themselves into a corner of if they
it's not
improve
even
it, people are going to be upset. If they don't
it's
improve it, people will be upset.
well, I don't think it's even like rose tinted glasses. I think it's like literally like a rose tinted like everything. It's like you're living in a virtual suit, okay? Because like I think like those people who have that attachment will pick it up and they'll go, "Oh, isn't this incredible? Isn't this amazing?" And then they'll show it to like their son or their neighbor or their friend, and their friend will go like, I mean, I guess, I mean, like, it looks like, not really like my type of thing, it doesn't look like modern, like, in any way, shape, or form, I mean,
Right.
like, and like, I think obviously with a remake, you do have like modern visuals, which help. But yeah, I think there's no winning in the situation because, like, either you, like Logan was just saying, like, either you make it faithful and it doesn't actually like satisfy anyone except for those with that emotional attachment because everybody else is like this doesn't feel like anything else today in a bad way, like not
Right.
like a novelty or like a distinctive thing, but like just like this feels old like in the worst
Right.
way.
Right.
Or you do what Halo's doing, right? Where it's like, like 4-player co-op or whatever and like modern and all that jazz. And then like everybody with the emotional attachment who would have been like the for sure like audience of this thing, like will be disappointed with it and not want to like,
Yeah.
Well, I
they'll
think that's a great
insist that it's
example
bad. Like I mean,
with the Final Fantasy VII remakes. There are
sure. Yeah,
people
yeah.
who really like them, but there are plenty of core OG Final Fantasy fans who hate it and who
Yep.
hate
That's fair.
what they've
Yeah.
done to the characters and are super mad about it because it's hard because I kind of am. It's just so different. I don't hate it, but I do think about it as a different thing.
Well,
It's
and they
just
almost
totally too
Mm,
different, right?
yeah.
Like the
yeah,
characters even act different. And so it's like,
right.
okay, if they had gone too close to the original, probably they would have struggled to bring in new fans, right? Because it would
Yeah.
Yeah.
feel old. And then also there's this whole thing of like, I mean, it's you're playing the same game again, right?
Yeah.
But like
But
they went so far, especially with the second one. What is it, Rebirth? A
yeah.
lot like Remake, people felt better about, but Rebirth kind of went more the other way, and Multiverse of Madness type stuff, and people hated it, right?
Mm,
And I
Right.
mean, there are still, of course, people who like it, but there's plenty of people who don't.
But I think the
And
problem, yeah, like, because the problem is though too that if you go the modern route, right, and you lose the love of like the die hard, like make it just like how I remember it, which first of all is kind of impossible, but B, like, I mean, like also never ganders like a new audience, right? Then your new audience is not going to be necessarily like buying it for sure because of the name, because they have no attachment to it.
Yeah.
You
right.
know, like they don't have that like sentimental like value of it. And so then all of a sudden you're not a standout relying on your legacy. You're competing with every other
Mhm.
game. You know, I
Yeah.
Right.
mean, and that's just a difficult
You know
place to be
what
in.
game did a 1-to-1 remake, make it the way we remembered it, and they did it successfully, and it's just critically acclaimed? Is Spyro the Reignited Trilogy,
I
right?
thought you were gonna say Pokemon.
True.
No, no, the Reignited Trilogy, man. Like, it
Yeah.
sounds funny, but like they remade it so 1-to-1. There's like a glitch in the original game that like you could mess up and not be able to
Yeah.
100% a game, and they included it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can still mess up and do that, and it's great. It really is in that example. Like make it the way I remember, and it just feels like exactly the same the way I remember it. And that one did well enough that, like, as we talked about last week, they announced the next Spyro game, right? The
Yep.
first, like, true, like, new Spyro sequel. And Toys for Bob is hoping that it will be the first of many, that, like, it'll be successful enough that they'll be able to continue making more, which I'm really excited about. But I personally was hoping for. I think Nintendo has been hoping this will be like an ace in their back pocket, which honestly, it probably will be. But I do agree with you, Logan. I think that I mean, I don't know. Nintendo does tend to do a decent job of like
Yeah.
meeting people's expectations, but it's in a really weird spot.
Mm.
I mean, there are people who don't like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which I love those Zelda games, and there are people who didn't
That's
like them.
where, yeah, that's another thing that you're going to get into an issue with is, and we already kind of talked about this a little bit too, is the new fans or the
Right.
people that are going to be growing up with the Nintendo going forward. The ones who aren't coming down with, existential dread at the state of the economy and having to support, multiple people, all those people, right? The ones
Yeah.
who will be spending more and more money with Nintendo as they grow older are now accustomed to Breath of the Wild style Zelda,
That's
right?
fair.
Which
Yeah,
And
was a
that's
now
true.
they're
big departure. Which was a big departure
Yeah.
from
yes.
traditional Zelda. Yes.
And so people who never grew up playing any of the other Zeldas, unless they happen to be one of the people who still had the DS and was playing some of the DS versions, right?
Yeah, like a Link Between
Which,
Worlds.
yeah, that kind of stuff, right? It's going to be very, very different. Now, there is the thing that they have, they redid uh, a few of the older Zelda games, right? They did
Yes. Yeah.
redo those. And those came out doing well, but the scope and how much they really affected people and like the name value of those games was a little bit less, right? And it's just a different situation with those than I believe with this one. So honestly, they are risking really alienating their
Right.
base for the future.
Well, who's it for? I guess it would
Yeah.
be the interesting
Right.
thing. Who did they make the game for? Did they make it for
Mm.
diehard old school Zelda fans to try and get people to buy the Switch too? Or did they make it to bring in new people? Because I don't know if you're aware of this, Logan. They're making a Legend of Zelda movie right now.
Oh, I did not know. Actually, you know what?
You,
I had heard rumors of it. I wasn't.
yes, it's
I'm
they
unsure of
finished
what like.
filming. They finished filming, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Um, it's live action, which
Oh, I
blows
know.
my
Ooh,
mind.
okay.
Ooh, yeah, I
That's
know.
pretty
Ooh,
crazy.
ooh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, oh,
but
that is a.
That could go
that's
incredibly
a
well,
choice.
or more
Yeah.
likely, you're like not well. Like
Well,
I,
I mean,
Not.
it kind of makes sense to want to make a movie with the property with how well the Mario movies have done, right?
right.
But like a part of that with the Mario movies is they leaned into the whole video game thing, and
Yeah.
Illumination did such a great job animating it. It's really hard to imagine it's really hard to imagine um it like working well in live action, or then like how are they going to cross over, right? Like cuz
True.
clearly like that, like not to spoil the next Mario movie, but clearly, like, Smash Brothers movie is happening, right? Which is Mario Avengers. Clearly, this is going to happen. Like, that's what they're building toward.
No, it's going to
But if
be
they use
not
live
a.
action Link, what's that going to be?
Is it going to be Smash Brothers or going to be a Mario Kart? Because I know that, like, obviously in the first movie, Mario movie, right? There was the piece about Mario Kart,
It's
but I
gotta
mean,
be
they could
Smash
really.
Brothers, man. It's got to be a Smash Brothers movie.
I
I feel
hope
like
it
they're going
is,
towards
but
that.
even if it's
Master
bad, I'd
Hand
watch
is
that.
totally going to be great, right? But so with that, are they trying to position themselves to appeal to a new audience, right? Not that not that Nintendo is like niche, but having a film is a different level of mainstream, right? There are plenty of people who saw the Mario movie who probably didn't play any Mario games, right? Granted, how long has it been since, like, a 3D Mario game has come out? Like, not counting Mario Wonder, right? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people may be familiar with it, but it's one thing to be familiar with it. It's another thing to like buy into it. So like, how much of this is
Yeah.
that too? Of them like, okay, well, like, let's get them into Ocarina of Time. Is it going to be like, is it a remake or is it like a Star Wars Force Awakens soft reboot, of something? Which that, went great, right? Am I right? I am interested though. I'm interested to see. But all of that to say, I was really hoping for Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I feel like Nintendo hates Twilight Princess because it's like their second best selling like Nintendo game, like Zelda game of all time, and they never talk about it. They never do anything for it. Like, I just don't get it because that's the one that I have the nostalgia for, right? That's the one for me.
Yeah.
That's like, oh man, like it did that thing. God, man, this is such a weird reference, but in the movie or in the TV show Westworld, there's a part where like the guy who creates the robots is like, you need to pay attention to the details because the guests, they're going to find one of these details that they think only they noticed, and like it's important for us to make that, right? That we thought of this little detail because they're going to like look for it. They did that in that game for me, where I'm like off doing my own little thing. And they do it in Breath of the Wild and such too, but I think it was one of the first times I really experienced it, that like, oh, I'm doing this thing that probably they don't care about, that I'm not supposed to be doing, but like the developers had thought about it and put something there, you know? And I was like, whoa, like it was a huge moment for me. And
Yeah.
anyway, and the way that they've continued that is they just don't do anything about that game. They have that game and they don't want my money. That's is it weird for me to say that I don't know when I will buy the Ocarina of Time remake because I'm not actually that interested? But I also know the price isn't going to go down, but like I'm not going to get into the hype of it probably and buy it right away.
I don't
I'm
know.
not so
I
interested.
feel like on one hand, like that is a little bit weird, especially from like I would say like you're one of the I mean more prolific Zelda fans that I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
but
on the other
I don't care about this specific Zelda game.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, like it's probably way better to be the opposite of me, who will buy it on day one and not play it for years. So I mean, like,
True. Valid.
although
I
I mean, like with
finally
Nintendo, there is that one advantage of the fact that their games almost never go on a serious sale. So I mean, like,
Right. Well, that's kind of the thing. That's the thing, right? Is like I know that waiting isn't going to change anything, but
Yeah.
so they announced Kingdom Hearts 4 with no date. They announced Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3 will come to the Switch too. I don't know how Kingdom Hearts has come back into my life, but I still hate it and I'm mad about the time between.
is it the whole like collection? Is it like the
Yes,
remix and everything and all
I
that?
don't
Like,
know if I don't know if I don't know. I don't know.
okay.
All of this is upsetting. All of this is
I'll
upsetting to
watch
me.
the tracks later.
So,
I have mixed feelings about Kingdom Hearts as an entire series, right? Because my only experience playing with it, playing those games, was I borrowed it from a cousin. I got all the way to the final boss when I was younger and just couldn't beat it. I just couldn't beat
Yep.
it, and I gave up, and I've never touched it since. I've
Honestly,
been
you freaking
wanted
dodged
to,
a
and I'm like,
bullet.
no.
You dodged a bullet. Screw Kingdom Hearts. The stories don't make sense. They're super convoluted, and the thing that bothers me the most that I keep bringing up, I was a literal child when I played Kingdom Hearts 2, and when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I was a grown man with a family. Like there is nothing you can do that justifies a 13-year gap. And not only that, but they like announced Kingdom Hearts 3 and they even had like videos for it and stuff, like just like 2 years after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So like for 10 years, they were like, it's coming, guys. It's coming. Get hyped. It's coming soon. And yeah, I'm not about it.
Like,
None
don't
of
get
the
me
games
wrong. I've always been a fan of the white text on the black background, like fading in and everything. That always looks super cool to me. The cloud effect or whatever that they do and everything. The deep lines, the deep one-liners are always so great. But I mean, also you can only do that for about 10 or 11 years before it gets old.
Honestly,
15 is way
yeah,
too long.
yeah. When you do it for 10 years, even, come on. They announced a new Splatoon game. They announced a new 2D final HD 2D. They're calling it. It kind of reminds me of Octopath Final Fantasy game on the Switch
Really?
too. And it's on everything. Called Final Fantasy Resonance. It looks awesome.
That sounds great.
Uh,
Yeah.
what is this? Switch Sports Resort. They announced that. They announced a new
I
Xenoblade
Oh,
heard
game.
something about that.
they're doing Sports Resort again?
Yep.
Interesting.
And they announced a new Xenoblade game and remakes of the other Xenoblade games.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Switch 2 version of Minecraft. Donkey Kong Bonanza is getting a DLC, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
Um,
Very cool.
it is a paid DLC.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
There's a
The
new Fire Emblem game that they
Mm,
announced called Fortune's Weave. I'm very excited about that.
I'm excited about that. Yeah.
I do love Fire Emblem, and they're doing that. There's 2 different editions up for pre-order.
Hmm.
Pokemon Pocopia is doing a DLC, I believe. There's a free update and a paid DLC coming out, which is pretty cool. Um, which I guess that's like out already. So there's a One Piece kitchen running game called like One Piece Grand Gourmet that I'm kind of into because I watched like the One Piece live action recently. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll play this One Piece game when it comes out. Stellar Blade. Nothing else that I would be super interested in. Nothing I was hoping they would announce. Right, last week I said I was hoping they would announce Expedition 33 and Ark Survival Ascended and Monster Hunter Wilds. All 3 of
I
these
feel like
things are known ports. Like
yeah,
the developers themselves have said they are developing ports for the games. None of those announcements, which I'm kind of bummed about, but all in all, I think the direct was decent. Not
but
bad.
also I mean, I feel like
And there were other games
Nintendo
I didn't mention. I want to throw that out there. There's lots of games
better.
on here I did not mention.
I feel like Nintendo's usually better than most at not announcing a game that's got that's not going to come out for multiple years. I think you kind of have to do it with Kingdom Hearts just to remind people that it's a thing. But for the most part, I mean, I think
It's the first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. I want to throw that out there. It is fascinating that they decided to do it with Nintendo and not
Mm.
Xbox or PlayStation, but it's the first announcement for Kingdom Hearts 4, and they bundled it in with the Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3 coming to the Switch 2 announcement. But anyway, continue. As far as the game not coming out for another decade.
the first full trailer, because they had that teaser or whatever with the they had a couple teasers, I think, that were very, very
Yes.
brief.
Yeah.
very
Yeah. It's
second.
it's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah. But yeah, I just for the most part, I'm glad that they're not saying, "Hey, we have a port incoming that we might come out sometime next year." I mean,
Right.
because I prefer almost to not know that until it was right around the corner, which Xbox has gotten better with over the years. But I mean, they used to be really bad about that, especially with third party games. So
That is a good point. the Minecraft Switch 2, they did not give a date. I'm quick scanning. For Kingdom Hearts, they did not give a date. But so far, everything else that has been announced is releasing this year.
I feel
in
like
2026.
Nintendo's been good about that. Since particularly with the Switch and the Switch 2. In terms of
the new Xenoblade game comes out in 2027. But even that 1 year, I don't feel like is a long time, right? For them to say it's coming out next year is still close. 2026, 26. Yeah, most of the announcements are. I mean, some of them are like from now, right? The new Fire Emblem game comes out in September, or 2026, or like the Pocopia thing. It was like a drop, like it's available right now, kind of a deal.
I do love those shadow drops.
It's the best. Yeah. Most of the announcements here are for 2026, which I do appreciate. I also appreciate that.
Speaking of shadow drops, on the negative side of things,
is this somehow a Bungie thing? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, Xbox shadow drop that they're doing layoffs soon.
Hey.
So yeah.
I love it because everybody and their mom was like, I want to get a job in video game development. And it's like, you really don't.
You really
don't. Why is where are they laying off people?
Pretty much across the brand, it looks like it's a major restructuring so far. You've even seen some higher up step down, the head of Xbox Game Studios, which comprises of 6 or 7 of their top studios, step down. The chief of staff of Xbox step down. There's a marketing director that's stepping down. It's a bunch of people. But then that's ahead of the layoffs that won't probably hit until the end of June when the fiscal year is up or whatever.
Has the head of Bethesda been kicked out yet? I would love that because
he's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, is he great? How's Elder Scrolls 6 coming? Is that done yet? How's
well, that's one of the things that allegedly they're working on is making that come sooner. In terms of that.
Wow, they're working on it. Wow, when did the last Elder Scrolls game come out? Does anyone know off the top of their head?
A while ago.
11. That's when Skyrim came out. 11.
That's a while
Logan,
ago.
How many years has it been since 2011?
Oh, you're asking me to do math. You're asking me to do math.
Public math.
15 years.
It's been 15 years. Wow, incredible. That's worse than Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. You know what? If Asha shut down Bethesda, that would be the best day of my life. I would just take back everything I've ever said about Xbox if she shut down Bethesda and fired the CEO and was like, "Yep, you know what? We're tired of waiting for you guys to make this happen."
That's insane. On the stage.
That would be awesome. It would be awesome.
What did Bethesda ever do to you? Jeez.
You know what they did? They make mediocre games. That's what they did.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what I love? Everyone defends it, and then they're like, "Oh, well, it's better with mods." And it's like, wow. So yeah, you can't even play the base game's not fun. You have to modify it to make it fun. Come on,
in general, but
come on.
I think the mod argument is pretty weak most of the time.
Yeah, it's super weak. It's that's like saying that you don't like this burrito. Well, here, if you add in all of this stuff that's not from this restaurant, then you'll like it. And it's like that doesn't even make sense.
So there's a restaurant that actually opened up near me that apparently you bring in a bag of chips and they put I don't know what they put in it, chili or salsa or something, and they close the bag and they mix it all up or whatever. But you literally have to buy the bag of chips elsewhere because they don't sell chips there. Power move.
You know what? They probably own the chip shop across the street also, and they're like, this is what we got. This is what we're gonna do. But Logan, are you gonna buy a Switch 2 to play Ocarina of Time?
No, I said I would, but no. It's not. I love the game. I absolutely love it, but also I'll just play the original, right? Like I have access to it.
Very valid. Very
Great point.
valid to just play the original. If you're a
I-
fan of it,
that's-
why not just play the original?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's one of my like biggest things with like, people complaining about like, oh, they don't like the new version of this or how this changed or whatever. It's like, well, for most
You
games,
can still
not
play
all,
Halo 1.
but most
You can still play
games,
Halo
you can
1.
still play like the original. You can always go back to those. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
not sprint, you can still go back and not sprint. You know, you can go back and play the original Halo and suck at that game too, just like you suck at the new ones. You can go do that. You know,
but
I'm not talking about anyone in specific. I want to clarify that. I'm not thinking of one specific person while I'm saying this.
that's good to know.
Yeah.
What's not good to know is that also apparently with this restructuring, there's like several Xbox studios that might get shut down, and none
Is
of
one
them
of them
are
Bethesda?
Okay.
None of
Oh,
them are
now I'm sad about it. Oh man, bummer.
Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, and Double Fine are apparently negotiating with Xbox to like spin off, which is crazy because Compulsion Games just came out with South of Midnight, like last year or a year before, that like was very critically acclaimed, and did pretty well, like in terms of like overall like acclaim, even if maybe not so much in sales. Double Fine always does very innovative, like unique work that always like really fills a niche of like it's kind of the niche that like Sony lost, right? Of like the wacky, like crazy, like out of like the box kind of like ideas and implementations that they kind of
Did
excel
Sony
at.
have that?
At one point,
Sony, yeah, they did.
I guess would you guys include Ratchet and Clank? That's what I immediately thought of for some reason.
Yeah,
No, I would say
guess you
like
can.
maybe
I
a
would.
little bit. I would say like more like their PS3 era was always like full of trailers of like all these like weird like indie but not indie games, like double A games or whatever, and like that like always like came across as like being innovative, right? And like weird and in like not necessarily a pejorative way. Uh Although sometimes it did seem a little bit too weird for me to ever touch, but I mean like but also like so and Ninja Theory just had a trailer at the Xbox showcase for Senwa. So it's really weird that these three studios are potentially being targeted to me. But also it seems like it's kind of the Sonyfication of Xbox when it comes down to it, which is
The
exactly what I was thinking about.
Sonyfication of Xbox.
Yeah, what
Are
do
you
explain
coining
that?
this
Okay.
term? Are you coining this term?
If
I
you're
mean,
gonna
I
coin
guess
it, you
so,
have to
yeah.
explain it. Give a definition of it.
You heard it here first, kids.
The Sonyfication would be like the consolidation of all your assets into prioritizing profit and your main brands over everything else in an attempt to like build an identity out that way instead of just having like a huge variety of things, which is pretty much what Sony's been doing, right? Like there's been multiple reports of them like refusing to like let studios work on their own thing and like also canceling projects that like are a little bit too far out of like the mainstream, like your God of Wars or your Last of Us's and all that. And like closing studios like left and right that like don't perform well enough. And that does seem to be now what Xbox is doing, which is something that like I had hoped that they wouldn't do. And I was fairly confident under Phil that they wouldn't do for the most part. Like there were obviously a couple of exceptions in there that happened that were not great, but it's really sad to see like democracy die or creativity die is what I meant, but I couldn't resist the Star Wars line. Uh to see like essentially like what it seemed like Xbox was doing well was letting studios do their thing and subsidizing it with their more popular things. And granted, with everything Asha said about their financials, which I guess there's not really any reason to lie about how bad they're doing, right? I can understand especially if the rumors going around of like Microsoft potentially spinning Xbox out might be true, of like Xbox needing to like figure out a way to be self-sustaining. I kind of understand that. But like at the same time, like the one thing I loved about Xbox in this last like couple generations was that they seemed dead set on like just letting people make games. And that was really cool. We got a lot of weird, like cool, like unique stuff from them that I thought was a lot of it was pretty stellar. And like not everyone I guess necessarily agrees, but it's crazy that like when a lot of those games went to PlayStation eventually, that they would score like 5 to 6 points higher on Metacritic than they would on Xbox, you know? Because guess what? Those things are actually cool and innovative and like interesting. And so yeah, to see Xbox try to like essentially like figure out how to be profitable is going to be an interesting and probably a very traumatizing ride.
Traumatizing.
I don't necessarily like know that it will have a good ending. But I guess we'll find out.
Well, I mean, for who, I guess, because like my thought on it would be just that these developers can still make games. They can still get together and make games, and just because these studios, with the transient nature of game studios, doesn't mean that like when like that these things can't be made. They're just not going to be made by Xbox specifically, right?
Mm.
Yeah, but without the funding, without like
Yeah,
having
definitely.
like a like massive like developer like showcase your game, like without like having that extra weight behind it, I think that it does hurt. Like I mean, we see games get canceled all the time by indie studios that like they fail. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like small business.
Yeah.
Like I
Well,
mean, like
yeah, sure. But then like there's also you also end up having other situations like you get your Expedition 33s and stuff like that as well. And so it's not all that way. I don't know. Maybe more games can fail. Maybe it's not
well,
that big of a thing. Like that's kind of
that's
Yeah.
how
the
I
other
feel about it.
argument is like that, yeah, like I mean, like this market is kind of oversaturated. And so this
Yeah.
was kind of potentially inevitable in the way that it was going to happen at some point. It just sucks
Yeah.
that like it's happening at Xbox, which I feel like has like some really talented studios there. And I'm
But
not
ag-
even
but
going to
but
mention
again,
Bethesda in that, but like,
but again, yeah, really talented studio, sure. They could actually, shut down like a studio that would be great. There's a studio I would love for them to shut down.
Yeah.
But like there's a studio that like, here's the thing, right, Logan? Like I have complained about this with Nintendo. Um but honestly, I feel like Bethesda's way worse about it. Like you made a good game 15 years ago doesn't mean you should be able to exist now. Like that's just my feeling about
Mm.
it. Like just because you made a good game back then and they just like keep releasing it doesn't like it really like that there are these other studios that end up closing and stuff and they can
Yeah.
just keep going is ridiculous because like, come on. Come on, you know.
it's just
Well, I
funny.
mean,
It's funny
And
because I mean,
and with well, and I guess you could talk about Fallout or even Starfield and such too. That these are good games, but like none of them hit the same way Skyrim did, right? You know what I mean?
no,
Like
no.
none of them are on the same level as Skyrim compared
None
to.
of them
well, what's
keep
the last game
getting
that was like
re-released.
Skyrim? You know, I mean, like,
Wait, can
I
you say
feel
that
like
again?
that's what's the last game like Skyrim? What's the last game
GTA
that hit like
5,
that? I mean,
GTA 5.
GTA 5.
Really? Right? They're both in the same
yeah,
boat, right?
True.
But I believe
True.
GTA 5 came out after Skyrim. Yeah, 2 years
Did
yeah,
afterward.
2 years
Skyrim
after,
came out in
sure.
2011. GTA 5 came out in 2013. Yeah, GTA 5, Fortnite. I don't know. Like as far as like a game that like people just keep going to. But I hear what you mean, and it is sad, and like you said, like that it's unsustainable. But like my thing is that artists will continue to make stuff, and maybe as much as I enjoyed High Guard, did we really need that game? And the people said no, right? Like, and yeah, the people are out of jobs and all that, and that's really difficult. I do understand that, and like it is nice that there was a big company that was platforming them and such, but apparently they can't afford to do that. And they can't
Yeah.
afford to keep doing it. So
Well, and I mean, like, I don't know. This is just like corporatization of Xbox to me, where it's like very much like, okay, well, all our divisions need to be profitable because we spent a ton of money on AI that didn't pan out, by the way. Go figure.
right.
And like now we need to recoup our losses and like kind of like invest in other things because
Well, I
like
think what there's a better way of looking at that though, because it's not just Microsoft that did that too, right?
Sure.
Like Sony did the same thing. How much was it? $3.7 billion they spent on Bungie, and that didn't work out.
yeah, but I mean Sony. There's two things about Sony
Three
is
point
that
six billion.
most of Sony is unprofitable except for PlayStation for the most
Uh,
part,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
PlayStation tends to be profitable in the long run.
And how much did they spend on Concord?
Yeah. So I mean like and granted maybe that's what Xbox is chasing with this strategy because they see that PlayStation is profitable and they're like, well, we need to kind of chase that now. But also I think the other difference is that when it comes down to it, I'm gonna think of how to word this. I feel like with Microsoft, you have a much bigger company that poured tons of money into something that didn't pan out. With Sony, you had essentially Sony subsidizing PlayStation's purchases or whatever, and then like PlayStation still managing to turn a profit as a company.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those and like 3.6 billion is not at all what like the closest thing I think you could do like an analogous comparison with would be the Activision like acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I think that the Microsoft as a whole pouring all their billions and billions of money into AI is just gonna like I think it's like the epicenter of an earthquake that will continue to see like continue to reverberate throughout the company as a whole. Where like I think Microsoft was actually in a pretty relatively strong position before they started investing all that money into AI, and they were so afraid of losing that because of AI that they like decided to like go all in, and they lost. And like when it comes down to it, that loss was like a financial like blow that like I think will be felt by everything Microsoft for a while. Um, I think that's a little
Sure.
bit different.
But
Like
my analogy is more of Sony and Microsoft have both put money and invested in different things, and it did not work. Right?
sure.
It did not work out. And so
Well, you could,
now there needs to be more of a focus on them making money
yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have been making bad investments,
Well, and you could argue that the
which is,
Activision acquisition was not that it's not nearly as profitable as Xbox had hoped or as Microsoft had hoped
oh,
to,
for sure,
because
for
like
sure.
Call of
Mm.
Duty, like didn't do well last year, just straight up. Now, like, I mean, regardless of like how like much money it might have made, like when it came down to it for a Call of Duty game, it did terrible, and like the new one is not exactly like getting a lot of love when it comes down to it.
Right.
We'll see, but like I mean, like no one that I've seen online seems excited about the prospect of like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare, even though that's a completely different thing from a Black Ops, ostensibly. I mean,
We talked about how I don't know anybody who actually plays Call of Duty, so it's just wild that like it's such a
Yeah.
popular game. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone who plays Call of Duty. But with that, with companies and investing, they're not that thing matters. Like it matters, right? And so like with these multiple mistakes that have been made and all of those things, hey, they have to pull back on that. And while that's a bummer,
Yeah.
also like maybe don't make bad maybe don't buy Bungie for $3.8 billion,
Yeah.
right? Maybe that wasn't such a big thing. How much was the Activision acquisition, D?
it was around like 6 billion, I think, something like that. Hang on, I can pull up the numbers.
Oh, I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up. 68.7 billion.
You know,
And
6
in
billion plus or minus like 10 times. You know?
All cash deal.
Yeah.
With a total cost amounting to $75.4 billion after accounting for debt and other obligations. Maybe don't spend $75 billion on Call of Duty when it's only $60 or $70, right? They could have just bought Call of Duty for $70, you know. Like maybe don't do that. Right.
Overwatch, I think WoW, I think like most of their other properties are like in better places than they ever were. And like, I mean, also I'm a fan of like, kind of ejecting Kotick out of the pilot seat there. Not a great dude.
It's just a lot. Yeah, no, I feel you, but it is a large number.
Gamers benefited, I think, from like better games when it came down to it, with the exception of Call of Duty. But I think it didn't help the company at all. And so, like, I think that, like, yeah, there not being a balance there, I think is like ultimately what they're going to look at.
And it didn't help the company. And in the end, talking about like the sonification or like the corporate decisions, it is a corporation.
Yeah,
they do have a bottom line. And they can't just like, wow, it was better for gamers, but not better for the company. Well, like Microsoft, if Microsoft keeps doing that, then there won't be Microsoft anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and that's a worse outcome overall for employees of the entire organization than just for a single arm of the organization. Right. Like if, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Logan.
Oh, I'm just saying if Microsoft itself fails, if it goes, well, honestly, it's one of those companies that's like, even if it goes bankrupt, it's still going to exist, right? It's not like a small company. But, you're looking at far more layoffs than a restructuring of an arm of the company,
well,
right?
And you're looking at pretty damaging, like, to the infrastructure of tech overall. Like, Microsoft is still very integral to that. And so, I mean, like, when it comes down to it...
And if they need to save money, they can just shut down Bethesda. That's it. That's what people should... That's what, Microsoft
you are a
crusade. Dude, like...
Don't shut down Bethesda.
Shut down Bethesda and give their games to someone who can make a good game. How about that? Even better. How about you shut down Bethesda and give their properties over to somebody who can actually make a game? How about that? That would be great. Bethesda's the worst. The worst.
Irrational hatred. That's what that is.
I hate that. You know what it is? You know where the irrational hatred came from, Logan? Is that my last experience with Bethesda was terrible. I somehow managed to get hyped for... What was that? What is the game called? Starlight? No, I don't even remember what it's called.
Oh my god!
I'm serious. What's it called?
You literally said it earlier, like 10 minutes ago. I mean,
StarCraft. I don't know.
StarCraft? No.
No, that's not it. Starfield. No. Yes.
StarCraft is also owned by Microsoft, though. Let's see. What is the list of games that Bethesda owns? I don't remember, D. I don't even remember. That's how bad it is. What's it called?
I mean, Logan just said it like literally 5 minutes ago. Like literally 2 minutes ago.
Oh, they own Deathloop. Is that why you're on this?
Hey, honestly,
you know what? No, you know what? Now David doesn't want to say the name of the game. That's how bad the game is. It's not even good. We won't even say the name of it. That's like, don't play any of these Bethesda games. And then I was super excited. And then I'm like, oh man, it's a Bethesda game. That's a bummer. Maybe it'll still be fun. Not fun. Terrible game. Not fun. Every Bethesda game, terrible, not fun. If you liked it, it was because you were dumb when you played it and you thought it was fun. It's not fun. Games are way better now. They're way better now than that game is. Arguably, games are way better now. Have you tried to go back and play Skyrim? It's not fun. Have you tried? It's not a good time. People are like, oh, Johnny, just mod it. You're not playing Skyrim anymore then. You're playing something else. Right? Like, not fun. Also, they just refuse to fix anything or do anything. They're just like, oh yeah, that's our engine broken. You know how it is. That's how our games play, janky and crappy.
They expect the community to come in with mods and fix it, right?
Yeah, really. The Bethesda is like the self-checkout of games in that they expect you to work for their company and fix their game. right?
Oh
And they're
my
like, don't worry, modders will fix it. Modders will make like the item, like the menus and stuff better. Don't worry about it. And it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize I had to learn how to code to play this game.
You
Ridiculous.
don't.
Ridiculous. What a terrible company. Anyway, I think that could be the title, right? It's just that like Microsoft needs to shut down Bethesda. I think that would work really well.
But then if you did that, right? There was a YouTube video about Skyrim where he did like a a week as a peasant in Skyrim. The same guy that did the Rivers
Love that guy.
YouTube
Yeah.
video. He did this whole like experiment to where he lived as an entire year or like an entire week or whatever it is in as like a peasant, right, in the game. On the farm outside of White Reach. And he actually is like he would only eat at whenever he would eat in the game, and according to the time zones in there in the game too. It's actually really interesting, and it almost made me go back and re-download Skyrim just to go do something stupid like that too.
Yeah. See, this is what Bethesda's driving people to. Just want to throw that out there. This is what
Playing their games. Oh no.
This is what it's driving to. No, not playing their game. They're doing something. They're like just using it for something. Yeah. Anyway, I think. Do we have any closing comments other than Bethesda sucks? Is that it? I think that's it.
Spyro's canceled.
Spyro's canceled? No, it's not.
Spyro's
I'm not
canceled.
worried about that. No, it's not.
Actually, Bethesda's taking over the development of
Good Lord.
Spyro.
No, they can't because they can't take over the development of Spyro because they don't know how to make a game fun. That's the issue. That's the issue. What have they been doing over there for the last 15 years? Okay, come on. Anyway, Johnny, they've been working on whatever crappy game. Yeah, okay, yeah, good for them. It is sad to hear people lose their jobs in the restructuring, but I hope that going forward, companies need to stop spending more money than they're making. You know what I mean? Like, and hoping that everything's going to be a crazy hit and such. Like, they should be more cautious, and they should do that because it just is hurting people.
I feel like that's what Xbox is chasing, though, right now, is that everything needs to be a crazy hit. That's the sonification of it. And, like, I think that, like, that's gonna be, like, the model that they try to, like, follow in, like, in PlayStation shoes. Whereas Xbox was just letting studios make games. And if it wasn't a hit, guess what? That's okay, because we have hits. And, like, it's
the ballooning cost
I
of
think it's
game
worse for
development.
gamers, but it's like from a fiscal point, from a Microsoft point, I guess, like it does make sense. But it's also crazy that, like, I mean, is anyone surprised? I guess not really. But like in February, like they said that like there's no plans to make any changes, and like here we are, like 4 months later. And also like the timing of it too, of like like I don't think that you get any points for like announcing layoffs like a month in advance. Like I don't think so. I don't think that that's any better than like here's something better. Don't do the layoffs, find the money somewhere else or something, I mean, like just I think like their idea of like putting out like a letter like 30 days in advance because like that way they can beat the leak or whatever, like I think doesn't deserve like any kind of like a applause for transparency when it comes down to it.
I would agree. Also, I don't disagree with you, D. It's that in itself isn't a good thing, right? Just because they like set it 30 days in advance doesn't like make it a better situation. But on that note, I gotta get going, you guys. So everyone listening, make sure to like and subscribe and do all the things, and we will catch you all next week. Bye.
get out of here, Craig.